Okay, I messed up. Girl Glue Girl did not actually sue the company. I messed up. Okay, let's go into economics. Okay. Democrats want to go push the $15 minimum wage, right? Okay, that's all good and all, but for a $15 minimum wage, I could get a double double combo with a milkshake, then go to Costco, buy a hot dog and a Caesar salad, and still have 65 cents left over for $15. And considering restaurants only have a 3 to 5% profit margin, typically is yeah, please don't edit with the minimum wage. And right now, if you make the federal minimum wage, you work 40 hours a week, and you work for 50 weeks, it means that you'll be around $1,000 over poverty. So, you might think, well, yeah, this just proves it's too low. And I would respond with, okay, and what's the other way to do it? And you'd probably argue, well, there's this thing, and it's called, get this, it's called near poverty, and it basically just doubles the poverty line. Yeah, but you'd be able to support yourself if you were $15. You wouldn't be able to support a family for if you were the only one making $15 an hour. So yeah, but also this is a really bad thing because near God, the near poverty is completely different in New York City than it is in Garfield, Montana. Yes, it's a real place. Look it up. They also use a living wage, which is for a family for, according to MIT, around $16.68. But the same argument applies. Living wages, not same. New York, Montana, Garfield. Get it? Ha ha ha. And this is a new thing that we get to look at. So the current minimum wage is $7.25. The tip minimum wage is $2.13. Wow, so such big of a difference. Although the difference is made in tipped. And last time, I think the tip minimum wages plus their wage plus tips make around $20 per hour. So yeah, and the youth minimum wage is around $4.25. So Democrats, over the span of 5 years for the minimum wage, no tips, want that to be upgraded to 15. And there's this little thing below saying index to medium wages, meaning increase it with minimum when minimum or median wages go up. But the median wage would go up if there was a $15 thing. And obviously, there's some flaws with this, like, jobs being lost, things like that. You know, upper level people at, like, companies not being paid as much because their entire bottom line might be just eviscerated due to this. um, Other things like that. But hey, proponents of minimum wage, love, just absolutely love ignoring those, so whatever. So, ignoring those, wouldn't the minimum wage just go up forever until it crashed? Because it would become too expensive to employ people? No, that would never. Oh god, my voice, help. I sound awful. Oh, I think I'm back. Yay. Oh, great. Deep monotone. And the tip minimum wage is going to go up to $14.95. equal to standard minimum wage, meaning increasing with median. And the youth wage is going to go up to $14.75, equal standard to median, and 14C wages is weird, but go up to $15 an hour, equal to standard minimum wage. I should also mention this is in the COVID-19 relief. Not its own bill. This is in a COVID-19 relief to increase the minimum wage. Because minimum wage and COVID have everything to do. The main takeaway is that the minimum wage could not descend lower than $15 an hour, and it would increase based off of median dollars, but it couldn't go lower than $15 an hour, and this goes for standard, no tips, and the 14C wages. Okay. I just want to bring up that profitability of restaurants being 3 to 5%. I just feel like it's an important thing to consider, with businesses that haven't already closed, being decimated by COVID, and then having to pay an employee, if they even have any, which I seriously hope they don't, because they're gonna get hammered. $15 an hour, maybe even more. So I really, really, really just want to go mention that statistic. And this is even more fishy considering this the Senate just voted not to raise the minimum wage for, quote, the $15 federal minimum wage would devastate or hardest hit small businesses at a time where they can least afford it, said Senator John Ernest, a Republican from Iowa, who brought up the amendment. Of course he's a Republican, those dirty Republicans refusing human rights. Oh, oops. Wait, I need to go Google something. Which party was the KKK with? Oh, it says Democrat, so that's interesting. Those damn Republicans manipulating history. Not to worry, though. Democrats still could get a $15 minimum wage. Plenty of content for me. Kind of sucks for most businesses, but whatever. How? Because budgets. That's how. And you might ask, how do budgets and bills do anything in common? Well, the answer is they don't have anything. But with only 51 votes, in reality it's 50 since Supreme Leader Kamala, needing to edit a budget, you could technically edit the minimum wage. Now, can you actually do that? That's debatable. Are Democrats going to try? Yeah, definitely. And if Democrats try to go squeeze it, which they're Democrats, of course they will. It will be up to the Senate parliamentarian, because we're British, to decide whether or not it's justified. And by justified, I mean whether or not it's a budget bill or not. And the Senate parliamentarian was appointed by Harry Reid, a Democrat. Lord save us from the unholy beings that are the Democrats. And, well, here's this Politico article I found. Biden under pressure to go nuclear to get a minimum wage hike. No, he doesn't. No, the article doesn't literally mean nuclear button on my desk. No, he means executive action. The article, damn it. Okay, so if Congress doesn't actually get a $15 minimum wage passed through by normal standards, ugh. Oh, also there's this little thing called Biden would have Kamala Harris or Supreme Leader Kamala overrule the parliamentarian if she or I don't even know their gender. If they disagree, meaning it could be actually legitimately voted on, and since it's a 50-50 split, you'd almost be acting, actually not almost, she would be acting as the judge, jury, and executioner. And this overrule hasn't happened in over 40 years, which is probably what politico means, considering that's what the entire article's about. So yeah. Remember the last time that Democrats went nuclear? They got rid of the filibuster for nominees, which then bit them really hard back. Oh, okay. So the minimum wage is $7.29, but actually very few people earn that much. 2% of hourly paid workers actually earn the federal minimum wage according to the Labor Department. Due to state minimum wages just being paid higher, other things. Okay. So, the budgetary effect on the Raise the Wage Act of 2021. This little press release, I would say, the number of people in poverty would be reduced by 0.9 million. So, yeah, okay. How many people would lose their jobs? 1.4 million. So let's see. I'm dumb, right? So let's just do 1.4 minus 0.9 and a net loss of 500,000 jobs. Oh my, no. And you might say 500,000 jobs, that's not what they're comparing. Well, yes it is, and I can explain how. This is about the Raise the Wage Act, which is about the minimum wage. So yeah, you can't argue that point. Got you there. So let me tell you this. So for every 2 people that get a job, 3 people would lose their job. And most of those would go into poverty. Very smart Democrats, very smart. But they'd also most likely be younger, less educated workers. Oh no, student debt crisis. Well, too bad that doesn't exist. It would be a real shame if government had stepped in and therefore devalued the average student's dollars, because a government monopoly can basically pay whatever because it doesn't go out of business, whereas students can only pay so much, and if you charge them so much they'll just give up and not go to college, therefore you don't actually make any money. Luckily that never happened. But supporters of $15 minimum wage say it will raise the pay of 32 million workers, lift people out of poverty, and reduce income inequality. Now that doesn't sound right. It sounds like it will do the exact opposite. And opponents of the $15 minimum wage say $15 minimum wage will cause job loss, reduce income as businesses cut employees' hours or fire employees, and raise prices for consumers. I also got to mention supporters of this say it will stimulate the economy because it will stimulate people to buy more things, therefore make more money for other people. And opponents also say of the $15 minimum wage will disproportionately hurt small businesses, and it will also depress economic growth. So basically, every stance. But what would it actually entail, I don't actually know. There's never ever been in the history of the United States such a dramatic change in the minimum wage. There's too many ripple effects. It's possible to find studies of both sides. And your common sense might not make sense because I might think, okay, well, since there's we I you go restaurants would have to pay workers more, it would mean that and usually restaurants try to pay workers as highly as possible so they can keep better skilled talent. I would think they would either A, have to cut their hours, or B, fire them. Well, someone else might think, well, no, they would get extra money. So, yeah, it's complicated, is the best answer I can give. But the even bigger problem that I do know for a fact is that economists don't know what it will do. Meaning, it can have dramatic effects. Now, this doesn't mean it necessarily will, which is the key word, but most likely, yeah, it will probably have dramatic effects. And even the general the general conclusion of the studies are extremely different. And some studies say there are no negative effects. And to quote from a study, there, that there are no adverse employments to the minimum wage. But according to a different study, in totality, this body of evidence and conclusion points strongly toward negative effects of minimum wages on employees of less skilled workers. But the entire point is that we don't know, and if we don't know and studies have such different outcomes, how are we supposed to do this? Because both of the studies I quoted were legitimate studies, but both came to wildly different conclusions. So, what are we supposed to do?